any money to speak of, and that I don't. I haven't touched money. I mean, oh, I carry a little bit around in my wallet, but I don't never spend it. Like, I'm not going to tell that because that would shock people too much. But I've lived without money for a long time, much longer than I care to think. I'm not saying that's been comfortable, but it's just that's what happened. So I don't have money, I don't have a job, I don't have a career, I don't have family to speak of, and no lover, no husband, no relationship, no best friend. You know, there's nothing here for me to lose. But I'm happy. You know, I'm a happy person. I love my life. It's turning out to be everything that Swami Sri Atmananda said it was going to be. He told me. I had a dream years ago. Oh, I have to tell you about 2 dreams that I've had. One dream was really interesting, but that one will have to come later. Well, they both were. But the one dream that I told him about that was so markant, as they say in German, ein markanter Traum. It was a really interesting, really significant dream. I was riding in a car, and it was like, do you know where I went like 2-3 weeks ago? That was really cool. Brian took me to Auburn, Indiana, and that was really funny because on that day it was just like I was riding along because he invited me to go with him, and I thought, well, this is Prakriti, this is a signal from the Divine Mother, you should go, you know. So I just said, oh yeah, cool, and I just, got my things together and I jumped in the car. And then on the way there, he's like, well, what are you going to do when we get there? I'm like, what? What do you mean what I'm going to do when I get there? You invited me to come with you. He's like, well, I'm going to fix my brother's computer. So he's like, he had 4 hours of work to do. And I was like, oh, I can sit and twiddle my thumbs and watch the guys, dynoing their cars. You know what a dyno is? Probably not, right? It's like this machine where the car, the wheels turn, but the car doesn't go anywhere, and they rev up the engine, and they, check the transmission, and they hook it up to this computer, and it's really cool, and they all stand around and talk about cars and watch them spinning the wheels. Really exciting, right? So I was there, I was like, oh, okay, gee, I kind of totally misunderstood this whole situation, but it didn't matter. Brian was like, well, have you ever been to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Museum? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, you have to go there. I'm like, jeez, I guess I do, And he went and bought my ticket and got me into the museum. And basically, it's like Brian's a babysitter for me, He's like my babysitter. He's like, okay, little Gargi, take her to the museum. And so he paid my ticket, and he also paid the ticket of the young woman to accompany me with me. He actually gave me a 14-year-old chaperone to go with him to the museum with me, which was really cool. So we were in there, and I saw these cars, and they were so beautiful. My God. And I was stunned by this whole situation, and I walked around and I saw the cars, and I studied it. I actually studied, and I really got into it. I was like, let me find out everything that I can about this man, E.L. Cord, Eric Loban Cord, who took over this company and grew it into a huge not multinational, but yeah, actually, they sold cars in 110, they had 110 countries, dealerships in 110 countries. Now, this was at the height of the Depression. And I just had to look and see, well, what did this guy do? So I was studying that situation, just looking into it. But the reason I'm talking about the car is because the dream was about a car. I was in a car, and you know how in the old cars, or like in the old days, die Postkutsche, die Kutsche, the wagon in the back, the driver sits in the back, like in the westerns, and he's has the reins of the horses, and the people sit in the coach. They're inside and he's in the back, kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense. In the car that I was riding in, I was sitting in the front, but the driver wasn't in the front. The driver was in the back. And the driver there was a glass screen, and he was looking through the glass screen. But I was like in my, you know, coach where I was riding, with the windshield and everything. But he was at the back, and he was driving, okay? And it was a red car, gorgeous red car. And I was wearing a red dress. And he told Swamiji about this dream, and he said, this is your life, and you just wait and see. So now I'm starting to feel that that's what it's really trying to turn out as right now. So I'm not doing anything. Somebody else is driving, guys, and they're sitting behind me. The person who's driving is sitting behind me, and you can't see them, but I know that they're there. Okay, so that was my dream. And why am I telling all this? You know what? I'm going to have to stop this, and we have to look at the beginning of this video to see where I was going with all of this. Oh, Uma Thurman, Kill Bill. In the beginning of the movie, you see her, and she's in the car, and she's talking right into the camera, and it's kind of this thing about, this kind of flashback thing where she's talking, and it looks kind of stilted and put on, and it's stupid in a way, like a movie cliche. Like the guy who directed it, I'm sorry, I don't know who the director was, and I should know these things, but I just know what I like, He probably intended it to be some kind of cliche, and it was kind of I don't know if that scene was in black and white. It might have been black and white in the beginning. It was kind of a movie cliche, like a flashback to the 30s, 40s, 50s movies. She's talking into the camera and telling about killing Bill, how she's going to get him. So the movie is really, really... Let me see what time we got. Oh, 9 minutes, 26 seconds. Ooh. Okay, well, I can stop it, and then we can have smaller file sizes, guys, in a couple of seconds. And then I'll tell about it in the next one, okay? All right. Okay. Uma Thurman sitting in the car, driving, and... the most dangerous woman in the world. So, the person you're looking at, most dangerous woman in the world. Because not only do I have nothing to lose, I have nothing to gain also. Because this is not my home. I'm just visiting here. Okay? But, consider that situation. Somebody has nothing to lose, nothing to gain, and is basically totally centered in themselves. No act has to be desperate, because there's nothing to gain, nothing to lose. So there's no desperation here, there's nothing left. And basically, tonight, this night, last night I should say, in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock when I got up and went outside, I realized that everything was gone, that all of my past had disappeared. It's like the person that I was is no longer there. And okay, what I have to say is like the process of yoga, or if you want to call it like self-realization, people will say, I don't like that term self-realization, because it's a cliche, and it's a generalization, a stereotype, and nobody knows what it means. But that process of getting to the self, going to the core, is like dying without losing your body. Basically, it's not like dying without losing. It is dying without losing your body in very real sense. You die to your old life, and there's a verse in the Bible about that too. Guys, some of you people out there who read the Bible all the time, you know which verse I'm talking about. I die into myself. Maybe it's one of the epistles of Paul. Christians, basically, we don't know what that means most of the time, but I am experiencing it now. And this is what Jesus really was talking about. And it's the point is, and I don't even want to talk about ego or big ego or negative ego, positive ego, no ego, whatever. I don't want to even talk about that. It's about when all of the